Hi everyone. Thank you for joining in. We are very happy to have you with us. We've launched a new project which is called Project Hope, and that is to start talking about mental health and to spread awareness about it, to actually stop the stigma that goes around mental illness and all of that. So, you being with us means a lot to us. We have started a speaker series, and in the same connection today, we will be having our first speaker, who is a very who's a very brave person and is definitely an inspiration for so many of us. Her name is Nidhi Narayan, and she is a master student studying in University of Nottingham, UK. And she herself has battled depression, suicidal thoughts, and has gone through a journey of which had a lot of difficulties, but she's still come out strong. And today she is with us to with the hope that she will be able to inspire others. So without further ado, I will just I'll have her with us, and then I think it will be great if all of you can make this live as interactive as possible and post any questions that you have regarding mental health, because that is the entire purpose of this thing. So we have Nidhi with us, and I'm just going to join her in a minute. I think this live session is very special for me because Nidhi is not only a depression and a suicidal survivor, but is also the project lead for this entire campaign. Hi, Nidhi, how are you?
Hi Neha, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. We are so happy to have you, and we are so thankful to you for coming here and trying to spread awareness of being so brave and inspiring people around you. So, thank you so much for joining us, Nidhi. It will be
Thank you
great
so
if
much
you
for
can
having me.
maybe, yeah, it'll be great if maybe you can introduce yourself, and then we can begin talking about your story.
Okay, sure. So hello everyone. My name is Nidhi Narayan. I am a postgraduate student at University of Nottingham in the United Kingdom, and I'm studying comparative literature. I've been a part of EPIC since the last 3 years. I am the head for Project Hope. So yeah, hello everyone.
Great. So, Nidhi, before we start talking about your journey, I mean, I think for us and for everyone viewing this session right now, it's very important to know when was the first time that you realized, that you were going through something as severe as depression?
I would say that it happened about 2 years ago. I have been going through depression for the past 4 years, but for the first 2 years, I wasn't even aware that I was going through something like depression because of, the lack of information. I just kind of felt that I am just very sad. And I have these mood swings. I don't feel okay. There's lack of concentration. I am physically not well as well. But 2 years ago, I read about depression and I understood that maybe, I am going through this problem and I should seek some kind of, solution for it. Yeah.
Right. So I think, like you said, this is a major part of not being aware that someone might go through such a big mental illness. So that realization, what kind of made you take this decision of maybe visiting a psychiatrist or seeking help from a therapist? What were the few incidents that kind of pushed you to take this decision and seek professional help?
Well, because along with depression, I've also dealt with self-harm and, suicidal thoughts. So I'd say that about around, 2 years ago, I had this, I developed this tendency over the last 4 years that whenever I was just, feeling very, I would say frustrated or angry, I would just, sort of hurt myself in different ways. Sometimes I would starve myself, or sometimes I would just, vent my anger by punching through the wall or something like that. And, then this one incident happened. I don't remember what exactly I was thinking that day, but I do remember how I felt. And I was literally feeling nothing. It was a moment when I was, I felt lost, and I was just, I didn't know what was happening to me. And so, first of all, I would like to say that these things that I'm about to say might be triggering for some people. So I just want to give a trigger warning or a statutory warning or something. Okay. So yeah, and so then I kind of, I went to the kitchen. I lived in Delhi for 3 years. I used to live with my roommates back then, and so I went to the kitchen, and I remember picking up a knife, and I didn't know what to do with the knife. I tried to cut myself, but the knife wasn't sharp enough. So I turned on the stove. I heated the knife, and I burnt my shoulder, and I still felt nothing. I still felt nothing, and then I went out to the balcony, and then I came back and I did it again, and still nothing. But then I told this incident to my roommates, and they told me that I think it's time that I should see a professional regarding this, because things are getting out of control and I don't have control over myself. I was not a threat to others, but to myself.
So dealing with so much, how did you manage your academics? How did you manage, waking up every day and still going to your college or going to work? How difficult was that? That journey for you, just to maybe get reach to another day, just to push yourself a little more to wake up, and then maybe sometimes I think also smile for others, carry on your work as usual. How difficult was that?
Well, when a person goes through something like this, every single day is hard. Every single activity that we do, talking to someone, eating, taking a bath, or just going outside, and even getting out of bed, waking up, everything is very difficult. And it just feels like you don't have the energy to continue doing that anymore. And I felt like that. But still, I wanted to do something. So I sort of, compartmentalized my emotions separately from my academics, because I wanted to, I still wanted to complete my graduation. I did not want to disappoint my parents. And I just had this urge to, get through this whole thing despite going through what I was going through.
So I think that is the kind of fighting spirit we all should seek for within us, and that is definitely applaudable. But Nidhi, like you mentioned, when you were going through these phases, when you were going through these dark times, you confided in your roommates and in your friends. So in regards to that, how important is it to have a safe space, to have the right kind of peer group which allows you to accept your emotions, feel your emotions, and then also kind of pushes you to seek the right help that you need at the moment? So how important is that, and what is the exact role that it played in your journey?
I think having a safe space is one of the most important things for any person who's going through a mental health problem, be it depression or any other illness, because most of the times we just feel, that the person won't understand us. We will be judged for feeling this way. And if you don't have a safe space, then you constantly feel scared to, to even say something or to react in any way at all, because most of the time, I felt this fear that if I reacted this way, what would other people say? What if they think that I am faking it? What if they think that I'm just trying to get attention? The fear of being judged by the people you love, and the fear of even judged by other people, the people that you don't know. It exists, and it constantly haunts our psyche, and we don't know what to do. So in order to, a path towards recovery starts from having a safe space around yourself, be it your friends, be it your family, be it any single person, but having a safe space is very important.
Right. So, talking about the safe space and the kind of professional help that you received, I mean, just to understand the underlying stigma around mental health, I really want to know, were there any incidents which made you feel bad about, you know, feeling your emotions? You know what I'm trying to say? Which made you
Yes.
think that maybe and everything that I'm going through is nothing and it just doesn't matter, because the people around you maybe were not very aware of
Hmm.
such terms of being depressed, or of knowing what are the symptoms. Just because of lack of awareness, did you feel
Yeah.
that gap? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my friends were very supportive. The friends that I had in Delhi, they were very supportive, my roommates. Had it not been for them, I would not be sitting here right now with you. And but my family, they didn't understand. They still don't, because they're not aware. And even if they want to understand, I somehow feel that they can't, because if a person hasn't been through depression, he or she or they, they can't understand it. I read somewhere that, if you want to know what depression feels like, you try this little experiment, you know and you draw yourself a bath. You go sit inside the tub and you drain all the water, and then you just sit there in the cold, because most of the times you just feel cold, you feel scared, and most of the times you feel nothing. And personally, I used to feel like I am in this deep well. The well was very deep, and it was dark. There was no light just on the top of it, just a little bit, but there was water constantly dripping around it, and I could hear whispers, and I was constantly screaming for help, but no one could hear me. No one could, help me. And these kind of things, they constantly haunt us. The feeling of not being able to get the kind of help which you need, or which you think you deserve, that doesn't happen often.
Right. But now that you went through such a dark period, I mean, I'm sure all of us would want to know maybe a few things that helped you cope up, that helped
Mhm.
you get better. What were the things that you tried? What did does talking help? That is one important question that, you know, I personally really want to know, because everyone says whenever someone's feeling a little low, whenever someone feels like things are not going the right way, the first reaction that we have is to instinctively tell the person to talk it out. Or maybe, you
Yeah.
know, sometimes people say just sleep on it, you'll be fine tomorrow morning. Just talk about it, you'll be fine. So do you think that really helps, or does that somehow exaggerate the problem?
I mean, I wouldn't know about other people. I can only say about my own self. So personally, I think it helps, because when you're feeling certain emotion, and when you talk about it to someone else, it's like, the phrase that when you share happiness, it multiplies, and when you share sadness, it reduces. It's just like that, but it's very important that the person you're sharing to, they should also listen. Because sometimes when we share something with someone, we don't want solutions. We don't want them to provide us immediate solutions that do this and do that and you'll be fine. We just want them to listen. That's all we want. We don't want any judgments. We don't want any kind of resolution to draw out of our conversation. We just want them to listen. That's it. Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, I think my best friend once told me that a friend should be someone who is like a hollow tree. Whenever you talk to a friend, you should feel relieved. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
don't want an answer, you just want to be heard. So I think you're absolutely right on that front, Nidhi. So now if we come back to you seeking therapy and seeking professional help. So I mean, from a third person point of view, I really want to know what were the initial steps that maybe the professional took with you in order to help you gain perspective on and help you, just become a more positive person in general, to
Yeah.
take you out
Yeah.
from that dark phase. What were the first initial steps that that you took with the professional?
Well, actually, when me and my friends we decided that we want to look for a professional, a psychiatrist, we found one, but I did not have a very positive experience with that doctor because he diagnosed me with clinical depression. He started me with medication because I also dealt with insomnia, and so that experience was not good because I used to cut myself a lot during that time. So he would just be like, Nidhi, you have to promise me that you won't cut yourself again. And, I would feel that I don't think this works that way, you know. But, I was on medication for about 6 to 8 months. And then I came here in the UK and I told my personal tutor about it. And she told me to get help, and I completed CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, because with depression comes anxiety. So you have to deal with anxiety and sadness. It's a whole lot of a mixture of multiple things, and you have to deal with all of them in order to sustain throughout the day, in order to get through your life. So I would say that people try different kinds of therapy when they contact a professional. Depending on how the person is diagnosed. If they have PTSD, they do trauma therapy, and if they have something more serious like schizophrenia, psychosis, they straightforwardly do medication. And but for depression, people try CBT. People even try a therapy which is called EDMR. These are all effective therapies, but depending on how much depression has affected the person's physical health, if the person's sleep is affected, if they're dealing with severe anxiety, then medication helps. And it's all about the combination of how things go and how the professional decides that the person should be treated.
Right, right. So, along with professional help, I'm sure there must be some kind of coping mechanisms that you might have come up with to fight this mental illness. I think one of our viewers, Sakshi, also wanted to know what was one thing, or what were the coping mechanisms that, helped you.
Yeah, well, I think it depends, on the person of what things make them feel happy, of what things make them feel, better in any manner. For me, it was painting, it was listening to music, it was going out on walks, talking to my friends. For me, coping mechanisms were like this. But I'd like to talk about, a coping mechanism which I read about for self-harm, people who, harm themselves. It's called the Butterfly Project. So whenever you have the urge to cut yourself or to harm yourself, what you do is you take a marker and you draw a butterfly on your hand or your arm, and you name that butterfly with the person you love the most. So now this becomes a task for you because now that butterfly is named after the person you love the most, right? So if I am naming this butterfly, I have to protect it. It's my responsibility now to protect that butterfly. And I have to let it fade away over time. I don't have to scrub it off or rub it, you know. And if I cut myself, then the butterfly dies. So, this helped me a lot. Whenever I had the urge to cut myself, I would just draw one, two, three, many butterflies on my hand, and I would just name them after the people that I love. And and because as a person, I want to protect everyone, so I would just protect them. And if you have the tendencies to harm yourself, I would say that keeping away sharp objects, keeping away the things which you fear that might hurt you, you should either throw them away or you should just hide them. um, Once I did overdose on my medication. So now, when I was, given medication from my psychiatrist, I was still scared to take medication because I would fear that, what if I take all of them? What if I do it again? So, but then I controlled myself, and now whenever I'm scared, I hide my medication. I just hide them in a place that I would, I won't be able to find, and which, or it would take time for me to find them. And until then, I just try breathing exercises. I would just be like, 1, 2, 3, and hold it inside. And then you count to three and then you release it. That's why, because, sometimes when you're going through something, when you're having a panic attack or an anxiety attack, you forget to do the most important thing, that is breathing. you know and when we breathe, we become calm. We know that, the things which are worrying us, they're not happening right now. We're completely safe. Even if we're in a public place and someone deals with social anxiety. I also dealt with social anxiety for a very long period of time, and I would be scared to go in a bus. I would be scared to be around people. And then I would just remind myself that these people are not going to harm me. I am safe here. So, things like this, there are many coping mechanisms for different kinds of people. You just have to figure out what works for you.
Food works for you. Right.
Yeah.
I think that was very inspiring, and I think it's going to reach a lot of people, and we'll all be able to derive hope from your journey. So, Nidhi, since you recognized that you were going through clinical depression since the last 2 years, but you also somehow realized that this was something that started very early on in your life.
Yeah.
So, I just want to know if there is something that you would want to tell your younger self, something that, maybe sometimes when you look back, you think, okay, this is one thing that I might have done differently, and which would have resulted into something else. So, is there anything like that?
I mean, yeah, because if I look at my childhood, it was not a very good childhood. And most of the problems that I've been dealing with since the last 4 years, uh, a lot of those things are because of that, you know. And so as a kid, I was always like, I have to help everyone. I have to be the kindest person. And, I tried to be that person. And I still try to become that person. And, but somehow I just felt like I was unlovable, if that makes sense, that I didn't deserve love, or, but now I would tell my younger self that I think, Nidhi, you do deserve love. You're not unlovable. And now I have so many people who love me so much, my friends, and it's just yeah. And if I just knew when I was a kid that I do have friends, that somehow, even if my own parents, they don't understand me, they don't get me, then maybe I can find someone else to fill that place. But that didn't happen really. But when I went to college, when I went to Delhi, I found the most amazing people on this planet, and now I love them so much, and I know that they love me. So and as kids, all we want is someone to love us. I mean, I wanted that, and I think most of us, all of us want that. And we just want to be listened, we want to be heard. Yeah, these kind of the little things makes us who we are as people today.
Absolutely. So, when it comes to being recognizing that okay, you are lovable, I think the first step is maybe not just to expect that kind of love or seek it outside, but maybe first fall in love with yourself, and
Yeah.
realize that okay, you are a beautiful person, and no matter what the world says, you're always going to be that. So I think in that regard, I remember one of the exercises that we do with the kids in Epic. So one that exercise is to build self love. These kids are told to go back home, look into the mirror, and tell themselves that okay, I love you. And this sounds very simple. It sounds like a very simple activity, but everyone who's watching this today, just think about it. Try doing this activity, and you will be amazed by the results. You will be amazed by the results. This is all I'll say, and probably we'll love to have the feedback in the next session. To everyone who's watching this today, who goes back home and does this, just go to the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. Saying that in itself will, you know, will change the vibe that you have. So I think that is very important. Being
Yeah,
accepted, knowing that you are a lovable person, being heard, all of that are definitely important things. So thank you,
yeah,
Nidhi, for that perspective. And also, Nidhi, you said that as a child you always wanted to help others, and I think
yeah,
even now, being associated with you in a professional capacity, knowing you since such a long time, looking at the work that you have been doing in Epic, I mean, I still think you want to help others, and I think that is one of the major reasons that you began Project Hope, and you joined the team to bring about a positive change. So would you want to maybe introduce the project today, since it's the first day and all of us are
yeah.
really interested to know what is it about?
Yes, I would love to do that. Richa ma'am from our NGO, she called me one day and she told me that she had this idea about doing a project for mental health awareness. And she contacted me personally because she knew that I have been going through something like this. So she told me that, Nidhi, we want to develop something like this. So, think of some ideas, and then, maybe we can make this a huge project. Maybe we can make it something like that so that we can help people, so that we can help others. And then we created this Project Hope, and we named it after the one word which I think every single person sleeps with every single night, because when we set our alarm for the next morning, we sleep with the hope that we will wake up next day, which is, I think, a very little thing, but it's so important, you know. And so Project Hope is about helping people who are going through any form of mental health problems, because there's so many. And in our society, mental health problems are treated as a taboo, they're treated as non existent. People don't believe that, even if a person is smiling throughout the day, that person could be going through something much more serious than, any other person can realize. So we want people to know that even if someone in front of you is smiling, has the biggest smile, then maybe, somewhere that person is going through something. And, we should be kind to others. We should treat others with respect,
Absolutely.
gentility, because everyone deserves love, everyone deserves kindness, and we all are good people, right? And, through Project Hope, we just want to help people. We will be having these live sessions every day for this week. We have therapists, we have psychiatrists, we even have a spiritual leader with us. And we want to cover every aspect. We want to provide information regarding different mental health problems such as schizophrenia, obsessive compulsive disorder, bipolar disorder, because the lack of information leads people to suffer more. Because if you don't know what's going on with you, then how will you be able to seek a solution for it, right? And through asking people to share their stories, maybe we can inspire some other person to, share their problem with someone else. Because the hesitation, the fear of being judged, it just makes that person, suffer uh, alone. And no one should suffer alone, right? No one deserves that kind of pain. So all we want to do is just help people. Yeah.
Right. So, adding on to what Nidhi said, I think now more than ever, it is very important for us to be compassionate, for us to be kind, and for us to spread love and positivity around, because these are unprecedented times and the world is going through a huge crisis. And all we need is a little hope. And a little hope will go a long way. Our project, I think, basically is to spread this message to everyone, to create a safe space, and for people to know that we are there for them. We, as a community in Epic, and as young people in the world, I think we all understand our responsibility in these hard times, and that is what hope signifies. So it is a very, very special project, and today was a very special live session for me because Nidhi has gone through this. She has battled all of this, and I have personally witnessed her growth. I have seen the way she has come out to be a winner, the way she's inspiring others, and also, lending the help that she might not have received at that time. So I think Project Hope is very special. Thank you to everyone who was associated with us today. And I think we will soon be concluding this live session. But before I let you go, Nidhi, I would really, really request you to share a few tips for everyone who's watching the session just to have a more positive approach towards life.
Okay. Okay. So, hello to everyone once again who all are watching this live session. In order to have a positive approach towards life, I think it's very difficult because even during these times, we all feel very uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen next, but still, we I suggest that we hold on to the things which matter to us the most, to the people who matter to us the most, and and we just try to be kind toward others. We see the good things in life. We notice the little things like, a small butterfly which flies across your window, even the way sun rises every morning and it sets every evening. Noticing these little things in life and holding on to the people and to things which are the closest to you, I think it can help many people to have a different approach towards life, and maybe, give them motivation and inspiration to do something better for others.
Absolutely. So I think the keynote here is to be thankful, is to be grateful for everyone and every little thing that you have in your life. Just appreciating them will make the world such a better place. So as we conclude the session, I think from entire Team Epic side, I would want to thank everyone who joined us, and would also like to say that you have our support, our love, and we are there for you. We are there for each other, and I think we all together can definitely bring positive change. So take care,
Yes.
everyone, and stay safe.
Okay.
And thank you, Nidhi, for joining us. You have been such an amazing person, and your words have definitely motivated so many of us. So thank you so
I
much for being.
feel Okay, I feel so honored to be here with everyone. And thank you everyone for listening to me. I hope I wasn't, too boring because of anything that I said, and I wasn't too offensive to anyone. I just wanted to share my story so that in some way I can help any person out there who is maybe going through the same thing that I have been going through.
You were absolutely not boring. Your story was very inspiring. Most special sessions that I have had. So thank you so much again, and thank you everyone for being with us. Take care,
Thank
everyone,
you.
and keep the hope alive.
Sure.